Good afternoon, good evening, and good morning, wherever you are. My name is Kendra, and I'm from the Selling Guys, and I want to welcome you to today's webinar on product selection. And this is going to be hopefully a very valuable webinar for all of you, especially for those of you who are starting out selling on Amazon and find the product selection process to be one of your major hurdles. So, today we are going to try to get you past that barrier and onto selecting a private label product, and so you can just move forward and get selling, and doing so all while minimizing your risk and maximizing your return. And that's what is really kind of the mark of a successful Amazon business person these days, is maximizing your profits and minimizing any risk to your business that could cause you to lose money where you don't need to lose money. So just a little reminder that this webinar is pre-recorded so that I can be available for live Q&A after the webinar, and during the webinar I can answer your questions as the presentation is going along. I like to be interactive, and having this pre-recorded allows me to do that. So there will be a replay link for all of those of you who are in attendance today, and for any of you who come in late and were not able to watch the webinar live with us. There will be a replay link sent to you by email. So no worries, you can watch it on your own time. You just won't be able to participate in the live Q&A afterwards. So with that, let's go over today's agenda. So we're going to go over some introductions, just briefly talk about who I am and where I came from, and how I got started selling on Amazon, and some little bit of legal disclaimer type stuff, just to cover our own due diligence and make sure that everyone's aware that of just, basically we're not responsible for your actions, and we want to make sure that you're aware of that. Then before we get started with the product selection process, I wanted to briefly kind of go over some mindset training with you all. And because what I find a lot of, especially in the beginning community, is a lot of people have a lot of fear and anxiety and doubts about the methods that they're using, or maybe they're not sure about where to start, and or they don't have enough money, or they don't have enough time, and they have all these different questions going through their head. And so a lot of the obstacles that you will face in business in general will always be there. They're never going to go away. So one of the things that is very important is to adopt a mindset of abundance over scarcity. And so I'm going to kind of go over just some basic mindset training to get you in the frame of mind of being an entrepreneur and what that means, and how you can use that to your advantage moving forward. And then after that, we're going to talk about some basic requirements that you're going to need in order to maximize the benefit of the process that I'm going to teach you for selecting products. Then we're going to go over the recommended research tools that I use personally, and many sellers use to find products to sell on Amazon, and private label them and sell them through Amazon FBA. Then we're going to go over the product scoring calculator or ranker sheet that I created, and I initially created this for myself, but I thought it would be a valuable tool for all you to have. So we're going to be giving you a link to download that calculator scoring sheet in the email that goes out after the webinar with the replay link. So you'll have that available to you to use. So don't worry, you're going to have access to what you're going to be seeing today and what I'm going to be using. All the resources that I will be using today, you will also have access to. Now, some of the tools are free and some of them are paid. So you're going to have to make a business decision as to how much or how little you can afford or use at this time being at this time. So just make your own decision. Don't Everything is free to try. So don't feel stressed out about that. Okay, so just a little bit of I'm gonna kind of prime your mind for what is to come. So after we're doing that, we're going to go over the actual product selection process. I'm going to just briefly go over that with you, and then we're going to dive in and we're actually going to select a product as I would select a product, and go over that whole process with you. And then we're going to kind of do a recap and then go into some actual Q&A after the webinar is over. So disclaimers. All right, just cover our butt type of stuff. This webinar is for informational purposes. All right, so anything I say here is just for your information. Any stated earnings are in no way a guarantee of or promise of future results and your level of success. From using these strategies that I'm going to show you today are going to depend on a lot of different things, like your time and your finances and your own interpretation and application of the information and techniques that I'm going to share with you. So with that said, let's get into a little bit about me. I really don't like to talk about a whole lot about myself, but again, my name is Kendra Martinenko, and I've been selling on Amazon since August of 2015. And actually, today is August 2nd when I recorded this. And I officially started selling, my official launch date was August 5th of 2015. So I'm almost exactly 2 years on Amazon.com. I sell only on the USA platform. I've earned a little over $90,000 in sales, and I sell one product, and I also have an accessory to that product. And as you can see, I'm not like a $1 million seller, everyone. I like to call myself an unguru. I don't do this full time either. I do this completely part time, and that's how much I've earned doing this completely part time, mostly on autopilot. I put a lot of effort into getting my business up and running at the beginning. And now I spend maybe 1 or 2 hours at most a week on this. And it just runs on autopilot for me. And now what I do on my other part of my time, when I'm not just, running my business, which is a lot of time, I teach, I train, I mentor. I love being an aunt. I have 2 wonderful 9-year-old nephews. My sisters are identical twins, so they both had my nephews around the same time. So they're both the same age, and they're just, I love them to pieces. And, I love photography. I love my family above everything else. And that is really my main motivator, is to spend, the main reason why I got into Amazon to begin with was to have more time to be with my family, because my family is everything to me. And so I really, right now, I'm really focused and dedicated on providing no-nonsense training for e-commerce entrepreneurs, not just Amazon, but everybody in e-commerce. I do provide training and coaching services, and I don't like to openly market myself because the fact of the matter is it's very time consuming to coach people one-on-one. So you have to be a very special person to be able to have my time. So I try to give as much of my knowledge away for free, because I can reach more people that way. For one, I can reach more people in the communities, like on Facebook, and so I'm focused really on providing the most value to the most people at one time. And so that's really where my focus is right now. And you can follow me everywhere if you like what I have to say. And I get messages all the time saying, can you make your posts, public or whatever, so I can follow you. I like to keep my Facebook pretty private, but you can follow me everywhere. My social media, my website, and everything is This Is Kendra. So I've branded myself This Is Kendra on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. My website, everything is at This Is Kendra. That is my handle. So if you want to follow me around, that's how you can do it. All right, so enough about me. Let's talk about your mind. So your mindset is very important, and this is one of my favorite quotes. It's from T. Harv Eker. Successful people have fear. Successful people have doubts. Successful people have worries. They just don't let these feelings stop them. All right. Everybody has the same anxieties, fears, doubts, worries, apprehensions, especially when you're starting out becoming an entrepreneur, or having the thought of starting something new, or being your own boss, or whatever it is. We all have these same core feelings. The difference between the successful people and the people who aren't successful are the people who aren't successful let that stop them right there in their tracks, and they don't ever move forward with their life. They don't ever move forward and make progress and grow. The people who are successful take those failures, mistakes, worries, doubts, fears, they take all those things and they make them a part of who they are, and make them a kind of a battle cry, in a way, a motivator for moving forward in whatever they're doing. So one thing that I always go back to, and I do this a lot with my personal clients, is asking yourself, why are you doing this? What is your big why? Is it because you want to break free from the 9-to-5 rat race and only work part-time, spend more time with friends and family? That was really what my big motivator was. I really wanted to be home with my family all the time. I didn't want to be commuting 2 hours a day to an office job, sitting at my desk all day long, and not and wasting all the, to me, what doing that was not making a difference, and it was wasting so much time and taking away so much time away from what I valued the most. And I valued my family above what I was doing at work. And so that was my core motivator. So is it being with your family more, your children, your spouse, your animals, what is it that you're doing this for? Is it to be your own boss, to be independent, to make your own rules, to not have to answer to anybody else? Is it to travel the world and be able to go anywhere at any time, just pick up at the drop of a hat, and still be making money while you're in transit? If you're on a plane to Australia and it's a 20-hour flight, and you're still making money while you're sitting there, sleeping on a plane. That that could be an exciting motivator for some people. Is it to pursue a new hobby? Maybe you've always wanted to learn how to do something that you've dreamt about for a really long time, and you could do that if you just had some passive income to be able to free up enough time to be able to pursue these other hobbies and business ideas and still make money at the same time. That's a wonderful concept. And that's actually what I ended up doing. I took the time that Amazon freed up for me, and the income I made off of Amazon allowed me to leverage that extra time to start new business ideas, to pursue different opportunities, to joint venture with other people. And now I'm making more money on top of that, and it just compounds. It's a wonderful thing. Or is it for some greater good? Is it for some greater altruistic thing, like solving a big problem or making a difference? Everybody has a core motivator. You need to define what your core motivator is. And once you have that, you need to write this down. You can't just think it in your head. You need to write it down, and even better, tell somebody. Even if it's me, I want, here's what I want you to do. I want you to find me and I want you to message me and tell me what your big why is. Or even better yet, tell everybody here right now in the chat, tell everybody what your big why is. And I bet you that I'm going to see how many other people, I hope it's over 100 people on this chat, today, tell me similar things. Yeah, everyone's going to see the same kind of core motivators. And that is going to be, I want you to use that as a motivation for you personally to say, you know what? Everyone has similar aspirations and dreams and goals. And together we can use this power, this great motivating power, to eliminate the fear and the doubt and the worry and the anxiety, because all that is just a manifestation of your mind. The big core motivator is why you're doing this, and that's why you're here today, is to learn how to do this and be able to succeed. All right, you have to cast your fears aside. Stop thinking about the what ifs and only deal with the what is. And I came up with this, the what ifs versus what is. And actually, my nephew was 4 years old and he was worrying about something, and he couldn't fall asleep one night, and so I was tucking him in, and he was worrying about I honestly can't remember exactly what he was worrying about. And I told him, I said, Austin, I said, you need to remember, you can't worry about the what ifs, because the what ifs haven't happened yet. All right, they haven't happened, and so there's no point in worrying about something that hasn't happened yet. Only deal with what is now. Has what you think is going to happen happened? No. So there's no need to worry about it. Cast your fears aside. And when I said that, it was so profound in what I said that I'm like, wow, that was really good. So I've adopted that as kind of my personal mantra, because personally I worry a lot. And I have to talk myself down sometimes. I have to say, Kendra, stop thinking about the what ifs and only deal with the what is. And that's a constant reminder. And it's important to understand that we're all human. We all have weaknesses. And when you acknowledge that, then you can address it, and you can tackle it and move on. So the other part of this is obviously a lot of our fears, especially when we grow up, is the risk, the element of risk. Okay, so I like to think of everyone has their own threshold of risk, and how much risk are they willing to take on. And this isn't just a matter of financial risk; it's also a risk of time and relationships. A lot of people going into this business, I've heard a lot of stories of entrepreneurs who say, I started this Amazon business and I didn't tell my husband that I was doing this. True story. I was actually at a business conference, and a lady approached me and she said, my husband doesn't know that I'm starting this Amazon business, because if I told him, I'm afraid that he would tell me I couldn't do it because it's too much of a risk. And so she decided she would take the risk upon herself and do it anyway, but without telling her husband. And so that was her threshold of risk. She was willing to risk potentially harming her relationship and the trust between her and her husband to make the decision to move forward with her Amazon business. And she and I started off around the same time selling, and she's become quite successful with her private label brand, and so she made it work. It took some time, but she was able to make it work. And eventually her husband did have to know about it, because they were making money. So, and that's a good problem to have, but it could have easily have gone the opposite direction. But she was willing to take that risk. And, um, some people are willing to take risks like that and some are not. So there's something I like to call managed risk. All right. And that is understanding, most importantly, what your threshold risk is. Everyone has to take a risk or else you will fail. If you take unnecessary risks that could jeopardize your well-being, your current lifestyle, if the current lifestyle you're living is necessary to maintain the livelihood of your family, that would be a failure. If you were to risk everything for the sake of others involved, right? So the bottom line is that you need to take a risk here. If you're going to sell on Amazon, that's a risk. The next step for you is to determine how much of a risk you are willing to make. So if you are going to, let's just say it's completely a financial decision, all right? So if you can only afford right here now $5,000 to invest in your Amazon business, you need to cut that amount in half, and that's how much you can spend on inventory and everything. So $2,500. So what that does is it minimizes your it gives you a buffer. Okay, so if you have 5,000 is your max, 2,500 is what you need, what you actually have. All right. So like I said, how much is this going to take? So you need to consider what you do now, what you are doing right now. Could you do it differently to allow you to get yourself to the point where you're up and selling on Amazon? All right. Ask yourself, how much money, time, or effort could you invest right here and right now in your business without compromising your current lifestyle? I'm going to be 100% honest with you that Amazon it's not a cheap endeavor. You can't just throw $50 into this and think that you're going to get started. You need to have some working capital, all right? Do you need a lot of working capital in the scheme of things? No. I would say that you need at least $1,000 to $2,000 to start. Ideal would be about $5,000, and that is an honest estimate, all right? This would give you enough financial leverage to buffer a mistake in case a product failed, unless a supplier shirked you of your money. You have some buffer there. That $5,000 is what you could actually, risk. If you were to go to a casino right here and right now and be able to say, if I lost $5,000 at the casino today, I would not lose my house, I would not lose my car, I would not lose my job, I would not lose anything. All right, that's what I mean. And the last key thing here is to remember that this is a long-term thing, okay? This isn't just out to make a quick buck. This is not a quick buck thing. If you want a private label Amazon business, you need to treat it as a business, because Amazon treats it as a business. The IRS treats it like a business. You need to treat it like a business. It's not something to just take lightly. You need to think about this long term. You need to learn how to play long. You need to learn how to not become myopic or, very, narrow focused in your business decisions, because if you do, you're not going to succeed. All right, so that is the mindset part of it. All right, so I hope I was able to kind of expand your mind, but also kind of bring you into a realm of reality of the Amazon world. That this is, a place where you can grow a brand and grow a business, and really leverage your time and your money in unique and very powerful and profitable ways. But you have to be smart about it. and you have to be very serious about it. All right. This isn't something that is just something that you should treat as a hobby. It's not a hobby. If you have that mindset, I respectfully encourage you to reconsider selling on Amazon. If you really want this to be your business and you are fully invested in it, I want you to listen carefully to what I'm going to present here coming up, how to do this, because it is going to really give you a very good foundation for moving forward. Okay, and I think some of these things I'm going to teach you today, very few sellers out there know about. Not even the pros know about. Some of these things are very unique and are kind of thinking outside the box. So I encourage, and that is how you get a competitive edge, is thinking outside the box. So let's get started with going over the research tools. So the research tools that we're going to be using. So I split these up into two categories. So there's a data mining and growth hacking. Okay. So actually I guess I should have swapped the columns so that growth hacking kind of comes first, because we're going to use growth hacking tools to develop our list of product ideas for our brand. Okay. And then we're going to use data mining tools to validate kind of our selections and validate our guesses as to what might be good products. And so with the data mining tools, we can kind of basically take a long list of ideas and whittle it down to top candidates. All right. So let's talk about a little bit about the private label product ranker that we're going to use. All right. So this is a great thing because, and I'm very proud of it, because for somebody like myself who sometimes has a hard time making decisions and can be indecisive about things, this takes all the emotion out of making a decision of your product. It lets the data tell you whether or not this is going to be a viable product for you to sell on Amazon. And by viable, I mean profitable. Okay. So just a little bit about the ranker. It takes, like I said, it takes the guesswork out of determining what a good product is. And more importantly, it takes away the emotional bias. So just because we may be as entrepreneurs, we tend to be very emotionally invested in our brand, and we get attached, and it's important to be passionate and have some heart and soul in our business, because that's what gives us energy and the drive and motivation to keep going. But it can also cloud our vision and cloud our judgment, because just because we think a product is a good idea doesn't mean it's going to be a profitable product to sell on Amazon. And that's the key. All right. So this ranker scores a product based upon a set of criteria, and they're weighted on priority. And by priority, I mean like there's different criteria, and some criteria are weighted more than others based upon how much of how people on Amazon shop, and how Amazon drives traffic to certain products, and all that. There's lots of different things that influence how well a product is going to sell. All right, so that's what I mean by weighted on priority. And then it uses, so we use data, the data mining tools like Jungle Scout, DS Quick View, and other keyword search services to basically determine what the demand is for that product. Okay, and then we just go through each question on the ranker, and we either give it, if the answer is a yes for the question, then we give it the score that's indicated. And I'm gonna go through the actual rankers. Don't worry. If the answer is a no, then we just give it a 0 and it gets 0 points. Now at the very end of the row, there's a tally, and if the score is over 50, you have a good product. There's a max of 70 points, and ideally you want a product that's going to score like 60. Okay, so 60 or over would be an excellent product opportunity. All right. All right, so let's get started with the product selection demo. So we're going to first select it's basically a 5-step process. So we're going to pick our niche. Then we're going to open up the ranker, the scoring calculator. And then, let me go back. All right, and then we're going to open up a toolbox of research tools. And basically, a toolbox. What I did was I bookmarked all of the website links for this exercise, and all those links are in a separate tab in that ranker spreadsheet that you're going to see here shortly. And then we're going to use the growth hacking tools to come up with the viable product ideas within the niche. And then we're going to use the data mining tools to rank the ideas based upon what the data is telling us. So basically, if Merchant Words is telling us, this product has X thousand demand, and then, we'll know that product has a good, it might be a good selection. Or if Jungle Scout tells us that the reviews is under a certain metric, then we can give it a score. Okay, so stuff like that. So in this demo, for the sake, so there's lots of different growth hacking tools out there, but for this demonstration, because for the sake of time, this is a process, and I would generously give this process maybe 3 to 4 hours tops. If you're going to you want to build out a list within your brand's category, your niche. So let's say home and kitchen, right? So if your brand is for home and kitchen products, you would want to go start this process with the idea of looking for hot and in-demand products in the home and kitchen category. All right, and then you're going to want to build a list of about 20. All right, 20 products that are viable candidates that you deem are viable candidates, and then we're going to enter those line by line in the product ranker, and we're going to let the ranker tell us, based upon the score, what the top 5 or so products are. And then from there, you can start going to Alibaba and other sourcing sites, and start going through the process of vetting suppliers for those products. All right. So after we go to the interesting finds page, that's kind of going to be our growth hacking tool for this demonstration. Then I'm going to test my theory by going to Jungle Scout, Merchant Words, and using DS Amazon Quick View to kind of scope out this product and see if would make a good product. Then we're going to validate the findings with other tools like SERPstat, which is a SEO, a search engine optimization tool, but it's an excellent keyword ranking tool that it's free to sign up. There's different plans that you can pay for on a monthly basis, but for this exercise, all we need is free. And then what we'll do is we'll score the product based upon the criteria. If it's a 50 or higher, then we know we have potentially a good product. And like I said before, if it's a 60, that's ideal. The max is 70, and that's like a golden opportunity. And so I also mentioned this before, but I have a personal rule, and my personal rule is I let my heart drive my passion. Okay. My brand is kind of an embodiment of who I am personally. And so when customers go to my brand, they are really connecting with me. And so I let my heart drive my passion and my brand. But when I'm making business decisions and I'm working on excuse me, when I'm working on finding a new product to sell, I let the data drive my business decision, because if I let my heart drive my business decision, then chances are the profit won't be there. So I have to let the data make the decision for me. And so the ranking calculator kind of allows me to do that. All right, and with that, let's get into let's exit out here and get to the demonstration. So the very first thing we're going to do is I just want to briefly go over kind of the niche idea thing, because I know that's another hang up, is a lot of people get hung up on the brand, on how to pick their niche, all right? And you should let your passion and what you love and what you are, what you're interested in drive what your brand is going to be, all right? Now, you can have an open brand, or you can have a brand that's very specific to a certain niche. So, for an example, you could be in home and kitchen space. You could have a brand that is only for kitchen gadgets. And so one thing is you want your brand to be generic enough that you could put it. It could be an umbrella for a lot of different things, a lot of different products, but you don't want it so narrow focused that it's going to really kind of pigeonhole you into just selling a certain item, right? Because then you have really little to expand upon on that brand. You'll have to create a brand new brand, and when you have to create a new brand, that's an additional expense, and and for marketing and all that. So that's a consideration you need to make. I mean, it's your choice, but I would go for something not really not really broad, but also not very specific. You need to kind of hit a kind of a happy medium, sweet spot in between. So the second step is to go on to interesting finds, and interesting finds is super cool. And what it does is it's kind of like an aggregator of people who go on Amazon and shop around, and they see things that catch their fancy and they really like it, and they're just totally go crazy over some of these things, okay? And so how you get there is amazon.com/stream, okay? That's how you get to interesting finds. This is an excellent growth hacking tool. And so let's just say, for an example, that we do sell on the home and kitchen platform. So there's a kitchen category. So let's go to kitchen. And so how I use interesting finds is I look for the hearts, all right? And they're kind of hard to see. They're very faint, light gray. But what I'm looking for are items that people have liked, like over maybe 5,000 or approaching 5,000. So let's look at something. Like, here's something here that's almost 4,500 hearts. A Buddha decoration vintage home butter dish. $22 for a butter dish. Okay. So 4,000, I'm not sure that justifies a good enough demand, good demand. Okay, here we go. 25.5 thousand likes for this nesting bowl set. Boom. I think we might have found ourselves a viable product. And look at all these other things, all these other nesting sets. Nesting spoons, nesting containers, nesting measuring sticks, cups, strainers. Okay, so obviously this is a pretty cool thing. So we just found ourselves a viable product right off the bat. Hot dog. Okay, so what we're going to do, this next step, is we're going to actually click on the listing. All right, so we see here that we have several different offerings and sizes, which is great, because that means that we can also offer size variations if we wanted to. They also have multicolor. That's another bonus, okay? So these are all kind of at first glance criteria that I'm looking for to say, is this good? But also look at this. the listing here isn't, not the best. It's not entirely optimized just by looking at it. I know a little bit about page optimization, and it's not entirely optimized. So let's look at the keywords. Nesting bowls set with mixing bowls. So our next step here is to do a little bit of data mining on these keywords. So we're going to type in nesting bowls with measuring cups, because that's what's being sold here. All right. And then our next step is going to use the mining tool Jungle Scout. And I use Jungle Scout Pro. Oops. All right. So Jungle Scout Pro is awesome because it gives you the difference between the light and the pro is that the light version or the pro version gives you all this additional information. It tells you the weight, the height, and the net profit that these sellers are making off this product. Okay. And so what I'm really looking for here is not just, first and foremost, I want to see what the estimated revenue is for these sellers. So it looks like there's a couple sellers here that are making, a decent profit off of these. And I would say, so the top four are making 21,000, but look how it drops off. So really, the average sales rank that's a little high. The average price is on the low end of acceptable. Okay, you want something between $20 and to really make a profit on Amazon these days, you really need to have an average price of $20, average sale price of $20 or higher, and be as lightweight as possible. So it looks like the average weight here ranges between under a pound to, so yeah, it's averaging about a little over a pound, I would say. The rank is not great. Average sales is 393 sales. So, if we multiply, an average sale price of $23.39 times 393, right? That's $9,200 gross sales. All right. So that's on the low end of, I would say you really want to find something that's $10,000, gross, to really, because remember, Amazon's going to take a pretty good chunk, with all the fees. So you need to make a profit. And, if you're the FBA fee here, it ranges also, you want to stay under $8, for the FBA fee. I would say even, ideally $5 would be a better target. So, let's just, let's use this data now to fill out the ranking, because I want to show you guys. Let's just step through the process. We don't know exactly yet if this is going to be a good product or not. So let's use the ranking, the ranking scoring sheet to tell us if this is going to be a good product or not. Okay. So I already have this pre-filled out, so we'll just reset it to 0 as we move along. So we're going to call this nesting bowl set. Okay, and the product category is home and kitchen. The average sale price between 25 and 80. 0. No, because it's 23. Average monthly sales greater than 10,000. No. It was just under, so we need to be honest here. Does the product have 3 viable main keywords to pull traffic from? Okay, this is where we're going to use SERPstat to tell us if it has 3 viable. Okay, so we're going to go to SERPstat, serpstat.com, And we're going to go nesting bowls set. Okay. And we're just going to type that in and search. All right, it has pretty low search volume, but that's really not what we're here for. We're really in here for the keywords. So it has 3 keywords. That's good. Nesting mixing bowl, Zach Designs. We also know that we can also use Amazon to tell us what other valuable keywords are, right? Because we can go up here and if I can exit out of here. Now, typically what I would do is I would export the CSV file, and then I could do some more higher level math here to figure out the actual averages. But right now I'm just going to use the averages up here to get the information. Okay. So, I was going to go over here and look at what the other recommendations are. So use Amazon to give you recommendations on keywords, right? So nesting bowls with lids, nesting bowls glass. So we use nesting bowls and measuring spoons, nesting bowls and measuring cups. Okay. So that's a 5. Average product BSR is less than 10,000. That's a 0. Okay, that the BSR was quite high. It was over 100,000. Average product reviews for top 5 sellers is less than 500. I believe that was a yes. Let's double check. Oops. So this seller has top 5. We have 2 that are 380 or 360 if I use my glasses. So let's do, I'm using my calculator here as we go. Plus 360 plus 360 plus 36. Divide by 5. So we have an average of 439. All right, so that's we met that metric, so that's a 5. Does the competition have 3 to 4 main keywords in the title? Okay, so this lets us know if the basically we want to see if there's competition out there that has some inkling as to how to write a listing, an optimized listing. Okay, because writing a optimized listing, words matter in Amazon, especially with listing rankings. You need to have a listing that is written with your main keywords in it, and it needs to be written in a way that is going to be easy for the customer to understand, find your product, and understand exactly what it is you're selling. Okay, and so I would have to say that most of these top sellers here have the main keywords. You know, mixing bowls sets, mixing handles. My product information thing keeps popping up. Sorry. So it looks like, from what I can tell, that most of these sellers, these top sellers, do have a clue. All right. So yes, and I don't know why that was a 5, but we need to put a 3 there. Okay. Do the competitors have high quality images, or do you see room for improvement? For what I can see, they have fairly, most of these people have good images. All right. They're all very bright, crisp, clear. Let's see if they have, let's look at this one here and see if they have lots of different images, including lifestyle images. Because one thing where you can optimize your listing is you can include lifestyle images in your photos that are, aside from the why is this taking so long? Come on. Okay, so we have, see that they did a nice job on their images. So I would say it's going to be hard to compete. See, there's a nice lifestyle image of showing the when you can show your product in use, that's a really good thing. Okay, so that's a little free tip that you can implement right with your listing is show your product in use. People like to see the product as it's going. This is really nice. Okay, so I might buy this. All right, so I would give that a 0. The bullets and description are descriptive. Bullets and description are descriptive and well written. Yes or no? Okay, so this question kind of implies, or it should apply to your competitors as well. So, is there any room for improvement in terms of how this is written? Yes and no. I mean, this is pretty descriptive. Space saving nesting design. Mixing bowls have wide non-slip bases. So it's, to me, this is a well-written listing. Let's scroll down here and see what the description says. Three mixing bowls carry not for microwave, all pieces. Yeah, so I think that there's probably some room for improvement. I would write a little bit more. I would write it better. I'd add more copy here. You can certainly add more. Amazon gives you lots of space to add valuable information. So I would say 3. Okay. Now we're going to use merchant words to kind of validate the demand for this product. Now, merchant words is pretty cool because it gives you an idea as to what people on Amazon are searching for and how much. So how much demand is there? And I have a very simple criteria for what a good high demand product is, and that would be something that has a combined keyword. So let's say nesting bowls, nesting bowl set, nesting bowl with measuring cups. If we did all those 3 phrases, search phrases, and we added up the demand, the monthly search volume for that, it should have a total of 100,000 or more. If it has less than 100,000, I'm not even going to waste my time, because if it doesn't have the traffic, the demand for me to be able to compete with all those other people, then I'm not going to sell anything. I'm just not going to have a chance. You don't want to set yourself up for failure by looking at a product that doesn't have the demand. If people don't want it, then don't sell it. It's just really that simple. So let's go nesting bowl set and see what happens. All right. So now this is awesome. So look at all the different keyword phrases, search phrases that people are using. So nesting bowl set has 19,800. Nesting bowl set. See, there's a difference. So the plural is different than the singular. So there's basically about 30, a little over 30,000 searches on nesting bowl set. Nesting bowls or nesting bowl set. Nesting mixing bowl set, 5,100. All right. Pyrex nesting bowl, no, because for this product, it's clearly it's like a plastic product, so we wouldn't be targeting the Pyrex or anything that's glass. So we wouldn't include this in our tally. All right. But nested bowl set, we would. Nesting measuring bowl set, we would. All right. But just eyeballing it, I'm not seeing the demand there. All right. It's not tallying up to be over 100,000. And that really is what I use as a key. So the keyword traffic isn't there. Okay, so that gets a 0. Is the unit weight under 3 pounds? Yes, it is. Is it under the oversized limit? Yes, it is. Is the FBA fee under $8? Yes, it is. It's not electric or battery. That's good. Is it seasonal? So seasonal products. Okay, everyone, I'm going to tell you a very personal experience story here. my product is a very seasonal product. It is it peaks in um, December and January, and it falls off very quickly around the end of April and May. So I have basically, effectively, I have 6 months out of the year where I sell hardly anything. And that is why I'm a part time Amazon seller. I have a very seasonal product. Now, doing this over again, I would, if I were to do a brand, I would not pick a seasonal product. And I would not recommend any beginner start with a seasonal product. Don't do it. Okay, you will not. If you want to do this full time and make a full time income off of this, solely off of Amazon selling, do not pick a seasonal product. So is this particular item seasonal? No, it gets a 5. Is it popular or on the most wished for, gifted, or hot new releases? Okay, so this is where we get to go to Amazon hot. Oops. If I can type. Let's see. Amazon new releases. Is it going to give me a hint here? Well, let's just go to bestsellers first and try to backtrack our way. Here we go. Yeah, because it gives us our tabs. Okay. So the best way to do this is to go to kitchen dining and see if we can find the product that we're looking for in the bestsellers or in those other tabs, most wished for, and that's going to tell us if customers are wanting the product. All right. So you'll have to spend some time clicking through. So, here's some similar things: meal prep containers, strainer, more containers. So this is just another way of, it's kind of like interesting finds, and it's a way of finding what the popular products are. All right. So I'm not going to spend too much time. I don't want to spend a whole lot of time trying to do that. So let's go back to bestsellers. Oh, it got stuck. All right, here. There we go. I need to find my bookmark. There we go. Okay. Most wished for. Let's go to most wished for, because that's going to tell us what people are really wanting right here and now. So we're going to go to kitchen and dining. So what are people into right now? See, they're into wine stuff, grills. Obviously, it's summertime here in the United States, so everyone's out in the backyard grilling. So that makes sense. Crock pots, because people are into, making quick and easy meals that they can just set aside and have it all ready to go when they get home from work. So, that's an idea. Cast iron. Aha, here we go. Mixing bowls. All right, so this is stainless steel, but it gives you an idea that people are thinking, I want a nesting bowl, like a nesting mixing bowl set or a nesting bowl set. That is something that they're really wanting. So if you can win people on your brand and your price and other features, then this is telling me, this is number 1 in mixing bowls and number 11 in utensils and gadgets. All right, so that is could be a potential. I would say that that's a yes. All right, so we're going to give that a 5. All right, so as you can see, we have a total score here. And our total score says it's 50. So we're kind of I had a feeling it would give us a 50. So a 50 is kind of hard because there's some pros and cons to this product. On one side, you have an issue with demand, and on the other, it's obviously a wanted product, and so you're going to and you also have some competition. You have a lot of top sellers who are making the majority of the money, and you have very few who are making anything at all. You have a lot who are making little at all, and it could be because of the competition. It could just be because they're not optimizing their listings. So there may be potential for you to come in and take away some of that market share. So a 50 is one of those where it's kind of like it's a good idea, but it's not a great idea. And so what you're going to have to do is repeat this process several times with other similar products, okay, in your product category, and get an idea as to what other things in your niche could possibly be good ideas. All right, and so you just repeat that process. Go do the interesting finds, and again, I've bookmarked all these things so to make it easier for myself. So I encourage you, when you get your copy of the ranker, you'll be able to go to the tab that says Research Tools. Here, I'll show you. So Research Tools, and we've listed here all the tools for you to go to. So you don't have to worry about, and some instructions to go along with it. So you don't have to worry about remembering all this. It's all there in that Research Tools tab for you to use. So when you go to the interesting finds, what you want to do is you want to kind of find the category that best applies to your brand, or whatever. So I don't know what this is. 52,000 for a plant terrarium box. Now this is a very interesting idea. So this is also in home and kitchen. So if you have like an open brand where you're selling like different home decoration items, not necessarily kitchen, this might be a really good idea. And this thing only has 3.5 stars, so you could potentially come in and sell a higher quality product. Obviously, you need to source this product well and get some samples and make sure that the quality is a good quality, and you could not only compete on just the listing optimization, but you could also compete on the quality and maybe command a little higher price because you're offering a better quality, but you're going to have to prove that, obviously. So again, you're just going to repeat that process, and you can also use other growth hacking. I like to call it growth hacking because that's what you're doing. You're going in, you're finding where the demand is, what people are searching for. So use the Amazon most wished for list is an excellent tool. Amazon is my go-to resource for finding what people want. People are going to Amazon because they want to buy something. So what better way to understand or know what people want and what people are going to buy than to look at what people are buying already on Amazon. It's really, it doesn't have to be rocket science. You don't need any fancy glitzy tools. All you need is Amazon, really. So if you don't want to spend any money starting off on tools, save yourself some money and some headaches by just going to Amazon and looking at what people are selling. The other tool I would recommend using, if you're not going to buy anything else, spend about $15 and get yourself something called Amazon or DS Amazon Quick View. And I will pull up. It's a Chrome extension, and I'll show you what it looks like here in the web store. Okay, so this is what it looks like. You want to search for DS Amazon Quick View. Okay, so let's just say that we're going back here and we're going to search for nesting bowls with measuring cups. All right, and now we're going to use the DS Amazon Quick View tool to quickly scope out the sales history data. So let's go down, and really all the DS Amazon Quick View tool does is, if you're familiar with the tools Keepa and Camel, then you'll appreciate this tool because it takes those two tools and it combines them. So it pulls the sales history data for Keepa and the other data that Camel provides, and just puts it all into one. If you're not familiar with those two tools, both of them are useful on their own. Keepa is spelled Keepa, and then there's Camel, just like the animal, just all in one, 3 camels. So both of them are useful for just getting a quick glance, a look at how well a product has been doing over time. Really, there's nothing fancy about it. I mean, it just gives you kind of a good baseline. So the nice thing about the Amazon DS Quick View is that it will tell you if it's a brand, for one. So as you can see here, this Joseph nesting bowl set, which is what first caught my eye, it is indeed a brand, okay? And it's also sold by Amazon, all right? So that's another consideration. But don't be discouraged by products necessarily that are sold by Amazon, because, if you have others here that are also FBA sellers, then that's something to that you want to look at, not necessarily if it's being sold by Amazon. So don't let the fact that it's also being sold by Amazon discourage you from adding it to your list of potential products to sell. Okay, so let's just demonstrate this. So here's price history for the nesting bowl set from Joseph. All right, so as you can see, the tracking history here for the price has been tracking around the $50 mark. It looks like there's been some price drops throughout the year. The lowest price being $25 in 2016, the highest being $49.99. It looks like probably when they first started out. For third parties, people will go on and they're going to try to retail arb this product for a really high price. The lowest price is $19.99. Let's look at some other price history and see what. So here is a lower price item that's kind of similar but not quite as nice looking, in my opinion. It has the Amazon Choice badge, which is interesting. Amazon's Choice badges are transient badges, and they'll pop up based upon sales velocity and reviews and pricing metrics throughout, and they'll show up on an hourly and daily basis. So just because you see Amazon's Choice badge above a product one day, you may see it above another product the next day. It's just kind of one of those transient, kind of a nice little award badge to get if you're a seller, and it can help boost your sales for the time that you have it. So that's another little thing to keep in mind. But for now, we're just looking at prices. So the other thing to look at, obviously, is the bestsellers rank history. Now, bestsellers rank history gives you a good indication as to how much demand, how much traffic, how much sales volume is this product generating, okay? And this is looking pretty good. It's under 1,000 for this particular product. as I would expect for a page one product for this category, I would expect it to be under 1,000. But it gives you a good idea as to how often people are searching for this product and how much they're buying. All right, so these are good stats to look at. So this product here, on the other hand, looks like it's pretty, it's hard to say if this is maybe a new product or not, but look at the difference in the sales rank. The sales rank is pretty high. All right, it's treading water around the 50,000 BSR. All right, so if you want more information on any of this, you could just click on, like, for example, the BSR history, and this will automatically open up camel, and will give you more information. You have to wait a little while for all the information to pop up. You have to create a free account with camel to view the sales rank and all the other information here. I'm not going to go through that process at this moment because for the sake of time. But if you want to go ahead and sign up for camel, I would recommend you do so. It just gives you some valuable information, some extra information to validate your choices. Okay. It also gives you, if you're an existing seller, this is a good way of determining, whether or not your prices are competitive. If price is a big consideration, and you want to make sure that your prices are competitive. Okay, you don't necessarily want to undervalue your product, but you also don't want to run into the possibility that Amazon doesn't really like sellers going in and charging a premium high price for a product that on average is, averaging, maybe you're selling for $40 and the average market price is $25. That might not sit very well with Amazon, and you're not going to get as many sales because you're not going to be driving as much traffic volume to your page because the price is too high. Okay, so the price is always something I recommend you test all the time. So really, guys, that's all there is to it. You want to use those tools I showed you to validate your products. So you're going to use the Amazon Interesting Finds, other places like YouTube, Pinterest, Instagram. You can basically do a Google search on your main keywords and come up with blog posts and other websites that are related to your topic, your niche, and look at what people are talking about that product, and look at what those people are really focusing in terms of what they're wanting to buy. And then from there, you can build your short list of products and product ideas. And then you use your data to make the actual business decision for you. So use SERPstat. Use another good one is for keyword research is Sonar, SONAR, and that's made by I think it's Sellics, SELLICS. And so there's so many different tools out there. I don't want anybody to get bogged down by all the different tools out there, because at the end of the day, you're still going to have to put in some time and effort into really validating these product ideas and using some common sense and your own knowledge about the niche that you're in to determine whether or not the product is a good product or not. These tools just allow you to make that process a bit easier and takes some of the guesswork out of it. Okay, so when you get to your product ranking score sheet, you're going to want to use those tools to answer these questions. And again, these are all like yes or no questions. So don't take a whole lot of time trying to guess or manipulate the score to be as honest as possible. If the score really is a 49 and not a 50, then I, I, that 50 is my absolute cutoff. I don't question what the scoring calculator is saying, because at 50, it's still, I would still think it's a good opportunity, but it's not a great opportunity. And I'm really looking for the opportunities out there that are going to maximize my profit and minimize my risk. And I would say a 55 to 60 would be closer to what I'm looking for. But 50 is the absolute cutoff, in my opinion. All right. So everyone, I want you to, we will be giving you this spreadsheet again so that you can use it. There's lots of notes here for you to read, so that you have an idea as to what to do with all these tools that I discussed today. There's a policy support information here. If you have any questions at all, please feel free to contact me. There's an email in the policy support tab, and I'll put it up here for you, so that it's questions@activeactionbrands.com, so that if you have any questions about the scoring calculator, or product ranker spreadsheet, or any questions about the webinar today or any of the tools that I used, please feel free to reach out and contact me. I'll do my best to get back to you as soon as I can, and answer any of your questions. And with that, I will now exit the webinar, and we will get on with the live Q&A. We'll open it up for about half an hour, so everybody has the opportunity to ask their questions. And please use the question tab at the end in your dashboard. There's the chat, and then there's like these little tabs in front of you that have a place where you can actually ask a question, and I will answer the questions there. And then once they're answered, they'll go into the answer tab, and you can look at all the answers in that section. And so that way I can address all your questions in a sequential manner. And so that's it, everyone. I really appreciate it, and thank you so much for attending today. I hope you found this valuable, and I'm looking forward to doing the next webinar. Don't know what it's going to be about, but if you have any ideas, please reach out in our Facebook communities and let us know what you would like to have us do another webinar on. All right. So with that, let's end it, and we'll go into Q&A. Thanks, everybody.